Hi, Tim here from Proclaim AV, and today we're going to talk about streaming your services. Let's check it out. So, I want to talk about 5 things that we should consider before we start streaming. And for a lot of churches, these end up being an unpleasant surprise or something that they look back and say, boy, I wish we'd thought of that sooner. So, I'm going to talk about these 5 things. And the first one is going to be, how frequently do you plan to stream? Now, for some of you, you're going to stream your services every week. But for some of you, it's just going to be an occasional thing where it's just temporary during maybe a wedding or, during a week where you have a lot of people out. It's just going to be an occasional thing. So I think it's important. That's going to drive your budget, the kind of equipment you buy, and that sort of thing. Number 2, manpower, volunteers, and training. Now, that's a lot of things to think of, but if you start a streaming ministry, depending on how complicated it is, you're going to have people who are there to run it every week. And so that's something to think about. Do you have the manpower? Some of you say, well, just have the sound guy do it. Well, if you're a big church, he's already got his hands full. And can you find enough volunteers who can jump in and help with that? Maybe you can find some teens that are interested in doing that. So think about that before you jump in. Do we have the people to do this as a ministry? Number 3, internet connection. Well, this is more of a practical consideration, but you do have to have a pretty good uplink speed to run a live stream. So if your internet connection is pretty poor, it's something you might want to rethink. It can be a problem. Number 4, licensing. Now, you can get into hot water with this because licensing is important, especially if you're going to stream music or if you're going to use any kind of background music that is copyrighted. So that's something to consider. Now, CCLI has a special streaming license. Now, remember, streaming is not covered by your regular CCLI license. It is an additional license that you must purchase if you're going to stream copyrighted music. So that's something to consider. Facebook is quite good at listening for music in live streams and shutting you down if it finds pre-recorded or copyrighted content. So that is something that you need to consider. For some of you, just streaming the sermon may be the best way to go about this so that you don't have to worry about the music copyrights and that sort of thing. Buy some stock music that's non-copyright that you can use maybe as your introduction or, if you need music to start things up, sort of as the introduction or the outro for that. Otherwise, maybe just streaming your sermon is the best plan of action. Number 5 is recording versus streaming. Now, for some of you, live is really important. It needs to be live, and that's understandable. But for some of you, it's better to tape the sermon or the service and then upload that file later, especially if you're in an area where you don't have a great internet connection, maybe a rural area. You might be better off to buy a camera and actually tape the service, grab that file and upload it as a video to Facebook, YouTube, or Vimeo, or whatever you're using, or embed in your website. That might be an excellent option for you. So there you go, 5 things that you might want to consider before you start streaming your services. I hope that's been helpful to you, and thanks for watching.